I was thinking the judgment seat of Christ should really be emphasized in preaching. It is often charged against people who believe in eternal security, like myself, that we just believe that we can sin as much as we want with no consequence. That's how a lot of people look at eternal security. But if you draw attention to the judgment seat of Christ, then that argument really falls flat. Because when we're talking about the judgment seat of Christ, we are talking about eternal rewards. Now think about how hard people will work for a temporary reward. Whether it's a raise at work, a promotion, or maybe it's just to impress somebody that they like. People will do all kinds of things for a temporary reward on this earth. How much more should someone do for a heavenly reward that lasts forever? Guys, there are rewards at the judgment seat of Christ. Eternal life is a gift. It's not a reward. We don't work for eternal life. That is solely based on your faith in Jesus Christ. But when it comes to being rewarded in heaven, it has to do with your service. So that's plenty of reason right there not to sin. Because if you live a life of sin and not serving the Lord, then you're not going to be getting anything eternally. I mean, you're not going to go to hell, but you're not going to have all these rewards that you could have had. I mean, what a waste, right? That's a waste. The judgment seat of Christ and also the negative consequences of sin should be emphasized. And if we emphasize those things, then the argument that it's just a license to sin, it has no ground to stand on. Because we recognize that, yes, it does make a difference if somebody just continues in sin. We recognize that. It's still a problem, okay? Even though it doesn't mean that the person's going to go to hell, it's still a problem. Okay? So, serve Jesus Christ out of love for Him. And He will reward you for it one day at the judgment seat of Christ. So I think the judgment seat of Christ should be emphasized a lot more than it is. It is the solution to the charge that we just believe in a license to sin.